Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Ben. I'm a running coach / runner who specializes in human optimization, longevity, both in sport and health. And my main focus is putting health as number one and performance will follow after that. In today's video, I'm going to talk about what every runner should be doing, and a lot of runners are already doing, but making sure that you're doing it correctly. The biggest mistake I'm seeing is so many people using a certain piece of apparatus behind me and not using it to the full effect. If anything, they're teaching their body and the biomechanics how to move incorrectly, which is going to result in injuries. So what am I talking about? The trusty sled. Now, if you follow Knees Over Toes or any other strength and conditioning coach, they are all about this apparatus, and there's good reason for it. First one is it practices focusing on strength, power, single leg strength, fitness. It works on your back posture muscles. It engages the back chain. So when I say the back chain, I mean your back, your bum, hamstrings, calves, the bottom of your feet, and it will also work the front chain, which is your tib anterior, your quads, abs. So it works the full body. If you use this apparatus correctly, this could probably be one of the main exercises you could do and get a really bang for buck momentum from this to take into your training. And it also makes you more resilient because it works the tendons and ligaments and the muscles that are often neglected when it comes to using other apparatuses or doing things like squats and lunges. So really good piece of apparatus, and I highly recommend everybody uses this. But the thing is, use it correctly. Don't use it in a way that's going to actually harm you instead of helping you. So what I'm going to show you and talk about a little bit is foot positioning. So hopefully you can see my feet here. This is really important. When it comes to running, we never want to be in this position where our feet are turned out. Yeah? If I'm single-legged in this position, I'm in a vulnerable position, which means that my pressure on the inside of my knee is going to go up exponentially, which then means that I'm increasing the likelihood of hurting ligaments and tendons. Also, when you're pushing on the inside of your foot, all the pressure goes onto the big toe. And if you want to imagine this finger being my big toe, if I'm doing that and pushing it in all the time, from a structural standpoint, I'm not safe anymore. I'm putting way too much pressure on the inside of my toe, which then isn't going to allow me to engage my arch, so the medial arch, the inside arch. And then from there, that's going to transfer into the knee, put more shear and more pressure on the knee, and it's also going to affect the hip. And then it can go into the lower back and even into the top half of your back, your thoracic spine. So foot position is really important. You can also see here, I'll take my shoe off. I am a huge fan of minimal shoes when you're training. When it comes to running, it's a little bit different, and I'll explain why in another video. But you can see my shoes here are very, very supple, and it's designed to work on the strength of my foot. So when it comes to the gym, I don't recommend using running shoes. I recommend wearing a minimal shoe or a shoe that is going to increase the likelihood, or no shoes actually, that are going to increase the likelihood of strengthening the foot. Because if your foot isn't strong, it doesn't matter what you do anywhere else, you're setting yourself up for failure. So now I've talked about what not to do. What do you do? Now, in particular, what we're looking at is I either want your feet to be straight or having your toes tucked in slightly. And the reason for that is that loads the connective tissue way better. So that goes from right down to the ankles, all the way up the body. When you put the weight on the outsides of your feet as well, what that's doing there, you can see it lifts my arch up and actually gets my glutes engaged. So just that simple thing alone, when you're standing or even walking around, aim to put the pressure on the outside of your foot and then transfer it to the big toe to push off, and you'll find that you're engaging the muscles in the feet correctly, and that's how you want to be using the sled. So whenever it comes to using the sled, the key body position, which relates into running and pretty much moving forward, the most optimal way is making sure your back chain is turned on. And what I mean by that is making sure your hips are further forward, your chest further forward than your hips. When I'm in this position straight away, this activates my back and it's going to activate my glute. Also, if we relate this into running, that's the position you want to be in. Then if I have my leg a little bit further back and I'm pushing through, that is going to allow us to drive forward more effectively than sitting in this position here, which I see a lot of people do, or this one, which I also see. So always remember, hips go back, chest slightly forward, and put a little bit of tension through the back chain and get it engaged. Even when you're going backwards. Yeah? Think of that position. You don't want to stand upright and we don't want to be heel striking. Runners are known for heel striking, stop doing it. When it comes to strength exercises for me right now, I never do any exercises on my heels. Resting on my heels is a resting position. What I'm training to do is to get better moving forward. So I train myself to be on my tiptoes as often as I can. When it comes to stretching, I will get my heels onto the floor. I'll do good calf stretches to really open it out. But when I'm in here, I'm trying to get all of the bottom of my foot stronger, the Achilles stronger, my calf muscles stronger. So when I'm doing this action here, all the time as I'm pushing forward, I will be on my tiptoes. Even when it comes to going backwards, I will go on my tiptoes first, then go onto my heel. Yep, the main driver is getting onto the outsides of your feet and getting onto them toes. The stronger your calves will be, the more you can propel yourself forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate it, and then you can hear my voiceover talking about certain things that you want to be focusing on.
Right, so what we're doing here is we are moving backwards. You can see what I'm trying to do is land on the outsides of my feet. I'm trying not to let my heels touch the floor for too long, and then I'm pushing off all of my toes. Make sure that you're pushing off all your toes and not just your big toe, because that will increase the likelihood of it inverting in. Then from here, as I've gone backwards, you can see I'm moving forwards. I'm using the handles to push my chest forward. That's going to engage my rhomboids in between my shoulder blades, improve posture. And as I'm pushing through, I'm trying to drive my knee up as high as I can. And you can see in particular, I'm trying to push on the outsides of my feet, so you can see my heel is turning away as I'm driving through. That is the biggest focus point here. Do not let your toes turn out. Either keep them straight or internally rotate them. That's going to change the position of the femur. It's going to allow the hip to be in a stronger position, and it will also engage the calf muscles. From a side profile, you can see that my hips are pushed back, so my bum is pushed back and my chest is leaning forward. That is the optimal position to be in, regardless if I'm going backwards or forwards. And this is going to allow me to work on posture. You can see in particular when I'm going forwards, I'm kind of really driving my knee up and pushing off all of my toes to go into a calf raise to allow me to drive off to get more powerful when it comes to running. So that would be how it would look from the side.
So how would I use the sled? I would use it as a warm-up for pretty much 10 to 15 minutes a day, or every time I'm in the gym. I would also use it, if you don't want to use it as a warm-up, to use it as the main exercise, where the key would be that you would just load weight onto here. So the more weight that you can put on the sled, the harder it is going to move, which is then going to have the adaptations that you're looking for. But I mean, for me, it's one of my favorite exercises to warm up to. I'd use it for very little weight, and I just do it on a consecutive basis. So the aim is to use it more often than not, pretty much every time you're coming into the gym. Don't go for running the treadmill. I would rather you use this, because this is going to be warming up everywhere and strengthening the areas that you need to help to become a more efficient and healthier runner. So if you have any questions, you know what to do, put them in the comment section below. If you have any questions, personal questions I should say, reach out to me on my IG, so Instagram, Facebook, or also email. Remember to click the like button if you like the video, subscribe, also press the bell notification so you see new videos. The aim is twice a week, so if there's anything you want me to focus on in particular, let me know and I will do my best to focus on that. So until then, remember, you've got to move to improve, and it's not about how much training you can do, it's about how much you can absorb. Take care.